Tinfoil hat.
Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here to do. I'm here to
Rock.
No, I'm here to celebrate the 7th anniversary. Bang! Celebrating with Xavier Guerrero and Jay Nice, Johnny Woodard.
Hey.
Guys, congratulations. We've made it to 7 years of doing Tinfoil Hat. Without you, we don't know where we'd be.
Lucky number 7, unless you believe Gary, who says not lucky, actually.
Yeah,
right?
some people get weirded out. You got Freemasons think it's the number of some dark entity, but we don't care because we're celebrating 7 years. 7 years of going deep and finding some of the most interesting aspects of the world we live in, talking to some of the most interesting people. We've talked to some really wonderful people. We've talked to some really crazy people, but at the end of the day, it's been an amazing journey. And I feel like if you followed us, I got people hit me up. I've been with since day one. If you have followed us since day one, you really have 100% learned how to look at the world in a whole different way. And I feel like it's the best way. And it's like what I tell you, dude, you want to know about conspiracies so you don't fall for their manifestation events. And if you listen to the show, you know exactly what's going on. So, I could go on forever. I just can't think. We have a long show for you. This is a great this is a fun, interesting episode. We have Josua Castro on. He's got some strong thoughts. He's got some interesting thoughts. I agree with a lot of stuff he said. He has some ideas on Christianity. They're not my thoughts. But again, I have to let the guest talk. And that's his belief. He does believe in Jesus. He has Christian beliefs. He also has some deep thoughts on a lot of other stuff. He had a great episode. I want you. It's a great episode. It's the perfect episode for us. Our second anniversary. Any thoughts from you guys on 7 years?
Dude, thank you for everything, and thank you for the swarm. Changed my life. Been down the rabbit hole I never thought.
Hey man, I hear you need a board guy or something. I'll do it. I won't need. He literally goes. I won't even talk.
Dude, I if it wasn't for you, I'd be vaccinated right now. Probably 2-3 boosters in. It'd be down. It'd be bad. So thank you, Swarm. Thank you, Sam, for 7 years.
You wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, I might be deported. Who knows where I'd be?
You probably had OD'd on coke.
Yeah.
Johnny.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, thank you, of course, and to everybody. I tell the story that we worked together first on Punch Drunk, and the group of listeners of this show are so much more positive and welcoming than. That was just a trolly kind of atmosphere among the listeners of Punch Drunk, who I still love those guys too. But I can't be any more thankful to be part of this group. So,
like I say, without you, I'd be just talking to myself. And we always 100% keep your interests in mind when we do this show to put out the best show, because we know you could listen to any podcast, and we love that this show has opened up people to wanting to do their own conspiracy podcast, and I hope more and more people do. You should all do it. If you want to talk about things, do it. We love it. The more the merrier. They can't keep us quiet, but we are one of the top ones out there because of you, the listeners, and our love of you, and keep making sure that you feel that you're being treated like gold. And that's how we think about you. We love the swarm. We know people have gone out there and tried to mock the swarm, and let them all do it. We don't care, dude. We know what you're doing, and we prefer to live in the light of love than go there and get nasty with people. And for those who hate us, I know there's a couple out you. Enjoy the ride too, man, because we're not changing anything. We're always going to be we'll always have God, Christ in our heart, and do the best we can. So thank you.
We're just getting started too.
We're just getting started. Okay? We're going nowhere, bro. To the top if you want to rock and roll. So thank you guys so much. And go check out the dates. We got some events coming out. Did I already do that? Did I already do the dates? No. Yeah, check out the live dates. El Mate on Saturday night. Come, somebody buy a ticket to that show.
Pull up.
I know it's Christmas. Come get weird. West Hills for another Rabbit Hole. That's only a $5 show. Come here, check that out. Cleveland, Ohio on the 11th of January. Pottstown on the 12th. Both those shows, Eddie Bravo, Xavier Guerrero, and then finally in Pittsburgh, myself and only Xavier Guerrero. Eddie Bravo's going off to his own thing. And then Batavia at the end of the month. New shirts, new T-shirts, new hats, new everything. All there. And everything you need, Sam Tripoli-wise, is on the website. Anything else?
Check out Broken Sim. It's a good one.
Check out Broken Sim. It's a good one. Check out Cash Daddy's Patreon. Check out all my premium content on Rockfin. I'm giving you 3 episodes a week of all my shows, so enjoy that.
And we're done with TFH Live after this Friday.
This
right?
Friday is the last TFH Live for 2023.
Year,
Once we come back, they will be Thursdays at 3 or
Pacific, 6 Eastern.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
We got feedback from people they want later. Makes
that's
sense to
it.
me.
Should we do it even later?
Could do, yeah.
Do 4 o'clock? That way our time.
Well, no, because then we start to overlap with Timcast.
Yeah, that's a
which
problem.
starts at 7 Eastern.
That's a problem because it's good.
And a lot of people commented that they didn't want us to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets a
But
lot.
people are gonna be home at 6 p.m. I feel like
Well, I mean,
we gotta figure out
did
the
a
time.
poll. I mean,
Okay, so that's the time.
That's the time.
Even though they're gonna be driving home
well,
from work.
I mean, people got off at work at 5. Most people don't commute hours. Most
Okay.
people live in rural areas.
All right, we'll do it at we'll do it at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern, yeah, 3 Pacific.
Okay, we'll
All
do
right,
it.
perfect.
It replays too. If you miss it live,
Yeah.
no big deal. Check it out on
Johnny
YouTube.
bringing up the good
YouTube.com.
Johnny bringing up the good points. Johnny, thank you.
And just for anybody who knows, you can call in for call-ins, just so you know. Go get the number.
What's the number
Yes,
on that?
the number is
323-825-9010.
All right, enjoy the episode. We love you. Thank you for spending 7 years with us. Enjoy the episode. All right, let's get into it. I'm very excited to have him on. He is a musician and he is an energy healer. Please welcome Josh Castro. How are you, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Very happy to be here.
I said you're an energy healer. Did I get that wrong, or are you a health healer?
Let's go with both. Both energy and body healer. They kind of go together.
I love that. Great. So we were debating your name before. It's a funny story. So we're going with Joshua, Josh. Which one do you want?
Fine. Josh is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, Josh.
cool. So it's funny because they messed up your name at immigration. Is that it?
Yes. It's a typo. It's one of those things that I've had it for a while, and I'm just kind of rolling with it. You know, like once you get to your 30s, it's kind of a pain in the ass to change things. So fuck it.
I'm with you, dude. I would go with that exactly. I'd be like, yeah, my name's Samantha. That's what they wrote on it. I'm just gonna go with it.
Samantha for today.
I'm just gonna live with it. You know, it's an interesting story. Okay, Josh. So those who don't know you, and can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Sure. So my name is Josh. I served in the military for over a decade in my state's National Guard. I'm also a licensed massage therapist. I've been doing that for about 14 years, and I specialize in all different types of modalities, from the body to the energy that people have and everything in between. That energy work actually led me to discover more intricate aspects of how our health is in relation to the things around us. And I started dabbling and working with psychic defense techniques. With that, it kind of led me into working with what I like to call human technologies and magic. And I'm talking about actual ceremonial spiritual magic. I work with all types of magic, low frequency, high frequency magic from all different types of religions and philosophies and doctrines, kind of like chaos magic that Aleister Crowley introduced in the beginning when it started, but without the ass fucking. Let's just leave it at that. Like all that stuff.
What is your take on Aleister Crowley?
We can get to him. We can get to him later on. I have a very interesting relationship with Crowley. I don't like Crowley. Crowley is he's a person that understood and knew a lot of things, but he just let things take over him too quickly. He just didn't understand the hermetic principles of low frequency and high frequencies and how you actually work with both of them. And that's what a lot of Thelema is based around of. That's what a lot of this quote unquote black satanic stuff is based out of, which is completely flawed.
Now, is it of your belief that there is white magic and black magic?
Well, it's all magic, essentially. There's really no black or white or high or low. It's all just magic. So it all depends on how the individual is performing that magic and for what purpose. And we can get to that also in a bit when we start talking about ethereal spirits and things like that, things that operate outside of what we see on a 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional level.
Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Sure. So I just find it interesting. I'm a Christian. I got Jesus in my heart. God above all gods. There is one God. But we are in this constant discussion about what is out there, what the big G God and the little G gods and all that stuff, manipulation of energy, all that stuff. Where do you fall on that? Jesus Christ, all that stuff.
Well, and that was actually going to be my next point, because I want to do a little disclaimer before we begin. I want to have a very, like you like to call, a black belt conversation. So I want to have like little disclaimers and stuff like that. That way we're kind of all on the same page. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm the great synchronicity, because that's actually the first point of my disclaimer, which is that I believe in Jesus Christ. And Jesus, you could argue, was the OG of psychic defense. A lot of the doctrines that you see in either version of the Bible, whether it's Catholic or Christian, Gnostic, or even the tenets of Islam and what they talk about, Rabbi Jeshua, ironically, it's psychic defense 101. So I believe in Jesus Christ. I work and I feel that energy of Jesus Christ. That energy is universal. It's Jesus in itself is the archetype for that universal energy, that adversary that is going against the dark arts, essentially. The best way to put it.
Okay. I understand that. Again, it is an interesting conversation. You know, I'm reading the Bible. I'm starting to read with a buddy of mine. We're going to get that going. And the Bible is a very interesting, book in that sense, because it has been telling all these, basically it's just been a retelling of all those teachings that have been going on for a long time in regards of how the energies relate to one another and our own bodies, and how it relates to how we see the reality around us. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I remember I met you at a live show, right?
Yes, correct.
And you were like, yeah, I got this stuff about BLM. And I'm like, okay, let's get into it. All right, cool. I remember that.
Yes.
What city was that?
Philadelphia. Well, it was Potsdam, but.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Which we're going back to with the Prophet Eddie Bravo and Xavier.
Yeah, I'm excited.
There we go. Damn rock.
Yeah, Xavier's learning how to open.
That actually was going to be.
Anybody here into Bigfoot? Hey, how many people here believe in chupacabra? All right.
A couple of them. We get a couple flat earthers as well.
Some flat. Any bitches here with the fast and the flat earth and the clay. Anyway, sorry, dude. Sorry, not.
No, you're good.
Doing all my jokes, guys. Yeah. Doing all my jokes, guys. There goes half my bit.
So it actually brings me to the second point, which is that some of the topics that I'm going to talk about are kind of Luciferian in nature. Now, that does not believe that I believe in Satan or Lucifer or anything like that, because once you obviously start understanding, hermetic magic and the way energy works, those things kind of don't matter in a way. And they're just kind of blanket statements that have been put forth for a long time. So that's another disclaimer. The second one is that
let me ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
Before you get into that, it is of my belief that there is a battle between God and fallen angels. Are you into that?
I wouldn't say that I'm into that. I have seen it firsthand, and that's something that I also wanted to talk about.
Okay, all right. I'll shut up. I'll shut up.
No, it's okay. You're asking all the right questions because there's a lot of. I know you mentioned this in the past in the show that we kind of live in a haunted house, right? Like
Yes.
everything is happening all at once at all times,
Yes.
every single time, and it is true, right? And now it's coming to a point that like with science advancing, science is kind of catching up right now to like what I like to call old science or pre-Einstein physics and pre-Einstein mentalities and all those things, in which they believe in things like the ether and like I know we joke around sometimes in medicine, like, oh, back in the day, doctors would say, hey, here, have some cocaine so you can get rid of the demons in your blood.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of truth behind that, you know? There's a lot of truth behind that. So I also wanted to say, like, I'm still currently active in the National Guard. I'm on my way out. And I just kind of wanted to bring that out just to make it a point that all the information that I have is not classified. There's nothing here that's been given to me by any government agency or anything like that. The fact that I was in the National Guard for a long time just has helped solidify my own practice, not the other way around. And that's what I wanted to talk about on regards of the BLM marches and what happened, because I was there. Not only that I was there, but I saw it first-handedly and I worked there. I was there the whole time. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's no conspiracy or anything like that in the sense that like there can't be no she said or he said because I was there. And because I was already practicing these types of healing work, I am aware that they use these critical events to trigger things. And it's what better way to look at them from the first source, from the first like front row.
Okay.
And
I'm
that's what I
listening.
wanted to get into because a lot of the times we talk about like, oh, okay, these are all high critical events that are used for, you know, to bring forth X, Y, and Z, but nobody really understands how they happen, right? Like we have these theories, we have people that have done research and stuff like that, but no one's actually like being able to look at it because a lot of the times when they happen, nobody's actually there.
Right.
You get what I mean?
I got you.
And that's something that I've noticed because obviously, I mean, I don't think we have to like touch on what happened that summer, but it you could argue that
which summer?
The summer
BLM.
Okay.
BLM marches, right?
Yeah.
And you could argue that a lot of those people were possessed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And that
Are you talking about the protesters?
Yes. The
So,
protest.
I love where you're going with this. I'm a big proponent that everything these people do are manifestation events, magic
Correct.
tricks
Correct.
to elicit a certain response to trigger programming in your head and in your body and in your soul.
So that's when we get into human technologies, but that's going to bring me back to my next disclaimer, which is that I do not believe in politics in the sense that I'm completely politically agnostic. There's no left and right. There's no Democrat or liberal or anything like that. I have to bring that point because we're going to insult liberals in a way, right? Because they're the ones who seem to be weak and become more sensitive to have these entities go into them. And I'm actually working with a good friend of mine who's working on his PhD on paranormal science. And he did this very interesting thought experiment in which he started quoting scripture to people on the internet every time they did any type of liberal rhetoric. And the answer was always negative, like as if it was demonic through the computer.
Interesting.
Every fucking time. And it wasn't just the Bible. He started also quoting the Book of Mormon. He also started quoting the Torah. He started quoting the Quran. Every single talking point that they would come up with, he's as a troll, he was like, fuck it, I'm going to send them some like scripture. And every time it was a demonic response that brought nothing to the conversation, but it was rooted in anger.
Interesting. I have always felt that the computer has some demonic energy to it because it is, I mean, if you even get into like social media, but like think about like what the computer has done to our psyche. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Tushy. That's right. Listen, relaxing dumps are great, but dealing with the aftermath, no way, Jose. Okay, not so much. Wiping only spreads poop around. Oh, come on, dude. Give yourself the ultimate clean and turn your bathroom into a personal oasis with refreshing stream of clean water from Hello Tushy Bidets, okay? I love it. I love using a bidet. I'll sit on a bidet all day, okay? That's how I am. Bidets are great, and Tushy bidets are the best of the best. You like bidets?
Dude, girls come over and now they think I'm taken. 'Cause
Yeah.
They don't expect a single guy to have a bidet. Woo,
Yeah,
they love
guys,
it.
you want chicks? Get a bidet.
get a
They know
bidet.
you're serious about your beehole. Johnny, you like bidets?
Oh, do I love a bidet as much as I love having a clean butthole, which is very, very much, Sam.
Yeah, that's so true, dude. Even if you use wet wipes, you're smearing poop around it and introducing nasty chemicals.
Imagine if you had
to
poo on your hand, would you use something dry to wipe it off like toilet paper?
No.
Of course not. You'd have a stream of fresh, clean water.
It's just ridiculous. Washing with a Hello Tushy bidet prevents poo particles from spreading to your hands and everything you touch. Hello Tushy attaches to your existing toilet, transforming it into a personal sanctuary. The patent self-cleaning smart spray and buildup resistant design helps to minimize grime buildup and is even has antimicrobial knobs. I don't even know what that word means.
Antimicrobial.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Knobs, making your weekly cleaning chore a whole lot easier. So here's what we're going to do. This is what I want you to. Hello Tushy is offering our listeners an exclusive limited time offer of 50% off your first bidet order plus free shipping. Go to hellotushy.com/tinfoil for 15% off all bidets. That's hellotushy.com and enter the promo code tinfoil at checkout. See site for details. All right.
Yes.
I talk about this a lot about why comedy, it's harder to be political today than it was in the past. Because people like George Carlin or Bill Hicks, people got their news from when they read the newspaper and then they watched 1 hour news at night. And that was the end of the news. And that was it. So they had a capacity to digest more political talk. Now, because of social media, everything is doom scrolling. There's just nothing but doom scrolling. So people almost need a break from it, even though I feel like the information they're getting isn't positive or factual.
Since you're bringing that up also, right, we're going to go back into another thing that we don't have to get into it. I'm actually currently going to school for computer science and engineering just to prove that point, because you're right about that. You're right about technology, and you're right about how it manipulates you, because now we're talking about the frequencies and even the light that your computer emits.
Okay,
Even
but
the light.
so give me
Even
one
the
second.
light-
Sorry to interrupt you. My dad's grandma that passed away, when the first computer came out, she's very Catholic. She literally would call it the Ouija board.
Yes.
She literally
And
would be
there-
when I was little. I was little, and she's like, "That's good. That's possessing you. That's not good. Go play outside." And you think you're crazy because I was talking about like when you first learning how to type. My dad would, hey, he needs to learn how to type. My grandma's like, it's a possession. That's the Ouija board. And now that he just called it evil, I'm like, dude, I remember my grandma used to look at us and be like, "Get off that."
I think about my kids all the time about just society now is not okay with kids playing in the neighborhood. And like they just sit at home and I got a big playground in the background in my backyard for them to play on, but they don't go outside. I mean, they're only 3. I don't know how much 3-year-olds go and play with people around the neighborhood, but even when I was young, did you guys do that? 3?
At 3? No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The neighborhood meant walking half a mile from me.
No,
so
but you still need to
definitely not.
have a limit of what, content they're producing, because at the end of the day, even the lights that these computers emit mess you up psychologically and messes up how your body even reacts to things. And now I wouldn't say that computers are evil, because obviously we're having this discussion right now. We're talking in an environment that otherwise would have never happened. And it's possible because of computers. It's possible because of the technology that comes with it. Now, obviously, when you asked me originally about magic and whether there's black or white magic, I said, no, there's no magic that is either evil or bad. It's only intent. So the same concept applies to the technology that we have right now, especially with laptops and, iPhones and stuff like that. But it is a Ouija board of some sort. And that's when we can get into dead internet theory as to what these bots really are.
Interesting, dude. It's interesting, but
let's see how it kind of starts going full circle.
Are you saying demons can go into the web?
Well, we had those guys on that they talked about how, or they were on the Union of the Unwanted, where their belief was, I forget the name of their podcast. I'm sorry, guys, if you're listening, my apologies, but they were talking about how they felt that AI was Nephilim spirits.
And yes, and that comes into what we're going to talk about of what a human technology is, right? Because obviously, let's go before. So all of this makes sense, right? There's two things that we have to affirm. Okay, the very first one is that terrain theory is real.
Okay.
Now we're not going to get into like the entire. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are more adepts into the whole topic of terrain theory. But for all of this to make sense, terrain theory is real. And there's a reason why when there was a whole war between terrain theory and germ theory back in, I believe, the 1800s, they took the Pasteur guy over the guy that did terrain theory.
Yes.
There's a reason behind it. Now, that is not a conspiracy theory. You can go on Wikipedia and read it over. There's no conspiracy about that. Now, me as a massage therapist, my experience as a massage therapist has actually led me to first-handedly see that terrain theory is real because my entire profession revolves around terrain theory concepts.
It's B Camp is his name. B Champ, is that Bechamp? Is that his name? The father.
Probably Bechamp.
Bechamp. There we go. There we go. Johnny, bang bang pow. Bechamp. There we go.
So terrain theory is real. Okay, so let's point that out. Now, for those who may not know, to really simplify it, terrain theory just means that your body, it's its own ecosystem, and the things around your environment, whether it's what you eat, who you fuck, or even the music you listen to, it's going to affect how your body works. That's just the most basic, dumbed down version of terrain theory.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing, in order for all of this to make sense, is that the ether is real. And then we're gonna
Okay. Explain to me what ether is. I've asked 1,000 people.
Yes, 1,000 people. And 1,000 people are gonna have the same answer. But the ether is God at its pure form. So think of God as this child that is just all-knowing and imagines, and it's able to imagine anything it wants. And then it decides that in order for me to exist, I'm going to create a light bulb that's going to give me heat. That light bulb is the ether. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to figure out, explain it to me. What?
So it's the energy that God creates, that God has, that gives meaning to everything. It is everything there is. It's like we are fishes in an ocean. Does the fish know if the water is actually water, or does it not realize?
Okay, so what you're saying is, so when like Tesla could pull energy out of thin air.
Correct.
That,
he was just
that is the ether.
Correct.
Interesting, Johnny. Thoughts
about Tesla?
Exactly.
I believe that a lot of his research was destroyed after his death.
The energy so if something moves through space, the energy that moves it.
Now that also means, right now, there's this holistic practice called Reiki, which is basically energy healing. It's a Japanese practice. Some people say that Jesus actually did a lot of Reiki, and he was a complete renowned Reiki master because that's what the idea of touching someone and clearing their energy, therefore giving them good health, either pain, either anxiety, either even nervous issues, just through that manipulation of energy. Now, there are placebo effects, there has been control studies and so on. And let me tell you that I didn't believe it at first until it was done to me. And then I started doing it on other people. And that's when I realized that, yes, these frequencies are real and you can be manipulated, and they're manipulated at different levels. So for everything to make sense in that regard, you have to emphasize that the ether is real.
Well, what do you mean when you say placebo effect, though? Because to me, those are indistinguishable from each other, those two things. And maybe
Right,
they're,
but isn't
the difference is
placebo
meaningless.
well, the placebo, even the definition of a placebo effect is just things that cannot, like in medicine, the placebo effect just means that the person thought of it, so it's true.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to make sure that you were not
Correct.
you weren't like, yeah, I got you. I understand.
Correct. But now, even with that perception, right? That even if you pretend or you think that this pain's no longer here, you already did magic. You already put your intent to it, and the pain is gone.
Yeah, no, totally. That's what I mean. I mean, to me, people who dismiss placebo effect is insignificant or just missing the entire point.
Yes, of course, exactly. And placebo effect is one of those blanket terms that are put into things that cannot really. It kind of goes outside of the medical spectrum. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
A lot of
totally.
placebo effect. It's not really what it is. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So those two things, the ether and terrain theory, those are the two things that we kind of have to like say that they're real. So all of this makes sense. So we're good?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, there's just a lot of stuff to go with that.
Okay. All right.
All right. So now human technologies, all right? So what is technology? Right, like your phone's technology, fire is technology. A flashlight.
Advancements.
Correct. It's advancements that are physical, that are created in order to aid the human condition, to put it in simpler terms, right?
Yeah.
Human technologies are things that the body creates in order to adjust itself to the living condition. So, for example, a gut feeling. Those innate feelings that when you're born, you just have, like, I'm going to suck on a titty because I'm a baby and I'm hungry and this is my mother. Those are human technologies. Those are things that you just know. So are we good with that?
Yeah, we love sucking titties
We're
here.
fine.
Of course.
We're all about titties.
Now,
That never
with
left
that human technology, then also comes the idea of astral projecting. Does that make sense so far?
Well, explain that jump from sucking titties to
You're
astral
using
projection.
technology in a way that the Scientologists use it, right? They kind of use it in this way too, if I'm not mistaken. They call these things human technologies, I think.
Correct. Now, mind you that the term human technology was actually coined by the military. It wasn't.
Oh, fascinating. Wow. Well, that makes sense. I mean, considering Scientology's connections to the military, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, the Navy for sure, 100%.
A lot of it was the whole study that they were doing with the not this
TK.
that yeah the program that they had where they were studying astral projection and remote viewing and things like that, because remote viewing was just like the first step. And I've read I think it was Phenomena by Annie Jacobs. Great book. I get it. I've read the documentation from the program from the CIA. It's all open source. All this information is out there. There's no conspiracy behind it, quote unquote conspiracy behind it. But it's along the lines that they know that there is this human technology, this thing that all humans possess, that all humans have, in which for some reason it makes their consciousness, right, their non-three-dimensional view of things, escape the three-dimensional place and go into a different realm. And then it goes into the idea that, we are in a realms and all these things, that we're in different simulations, whatever you want to call it. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Now, the reason why I'm explaining all that is because now we can go into how do these correlate to what's happening today in our everyday lives with the media and the attacks that we keep getting left and right, from, bots on the internet to the issues at the news station with politics, with all these shit. Because at the end of the day, you realize that a lot of these people are probably not real.
Yes, dude. I agree with so much. dude.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I literally said yes. It makes sense.
Sorry.
But the reason I'm saying this is because, like, we've talked about this on the show before, where there are people in Los Angeles right now that are making six figures, probably high end six figures, based solely on the fact that old Twitter basically astroturfed them into people thinking that they actually had this giant following. And it turns out it was all bots. It was literally all bots. So once Twitter's algorithm defined whether you were a conservative or a liberal or a progressive, right? Like a real progressive, it determined how much you got saw and how much you got pushed. And there are comics in Los Angeles that I know that I love them. I have nothing against them, but their tweets were dog shit. And they were getting like 20,000 likes. And you're like that. What is that tweet even about?
Well, it's something like what? Like dumb, like at Starbucks?
Like, I forget what it was. I remember one guy was tweeting that, like, when people were going off on Lil Nas X, that it's like it was due to racism because so much of heavy metal early had a lot of satanic imagery in it. And I was like, well, you know that, like, they weren't sponsored by Nike when they did it, right? Like, there was this kind of feel, even though it might have been astroturf that as well, that they were out, you had all these Christians being idiots and buying their records only to smash them, right? You're like, well, thanks for at least buying the records, right?
And then you realize as to why were they put on the front anyhow? Because as someone that plays music, right, I've actually seen, and I know these real quote unquote satanic black metal bands and stuff like that. And they're not your average Motley Crue or Slayer or anything like that. Like these everything is just put on the front because at that moment in time, you could argue that the archons or these entities wanted to grab that energy from these people. It was just used as a response because they wanted to get those reactions because that's what they feed off of.
No, you're 100. Why did I say no? Yes, you're 100% correct. That is exactly what they're doing. It is all manifestation. And correct. I really do believe in my heart of hearts, and we've said this before on the show, that the early satanic panic was done for what is coming out right now. And it's not that they don't want anyone to believe in satanic panic. They just want the progressives to have an out.
Can you explain? I don't quite understand what you're saying. So what do you mean it was done for the benefit of this now? Can you explain it?
What I'm saying is, like, they made it so, like, all these guys who were called satanic predators were, like, found either not guilty, or it later came out that, the whole story was just bullshit.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
they're all blanket statements.
What?
They're just blanket statements.
Yeah.
They're just there because they want to distract you from things.
So you come up with a term, satanic panic, right? And everyone's like,
to make it look like there's none of that going on.
It's just stupid Christians doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And then in reality, both those stories were real. Both the story of the daycare that was molesting children, they found what you never got told was that there were tunnels under the school. And then the Memphis 3, which I've had multiple people that I really do trust go, no, those guys knew details that only the killer would know. And that what you do is you get Johnny Depp, who was bought and sold, who went through a giant humiliation ritual with Amber Heard. I mean, I'm sorry.
And there's a reason why they do all those things, because even then, right, with Johnny Depp being humiliated, they were feeding off his energy for a specific reason, which you could argue at this point that it was to create that illusion of the Memphis whatever.
Well, they 100%. They used Johnny Depp's aura, his brand to sway people to see it a certain way. Well, if Johnny Depp believes it, he was great in Edward Scissorhands. I'm gonna trust what he says. And then it's
the dumbest thing. The idea that people who are acting somehow have any kind of intellectual weight or substance.
Well,
to
this
their
was a different time.
No, but I mean, it's just stupid. You know
we thought actors were outlaws, and they were just.
Well, actors used to be outlaws. The whole industry used to be kind of outlaws.
I start to question that as well. I mean,
and that was gonna bring to my next point, which is, are these people even real? Now, it sounds a little psychopathic to say that, like, oh, is this person real or not? Oh, well, then I'm better than them because I'm real and they're not. But I have this little exercise, right? To because Danny brings into the idea that some of these people are empty, and because they're empty, they're predisposed to being susceptible to be possessed.
Do you mean
And
okay
that's
by real? Do you mean NPC? Do you mean clones? Do you mean like
NPCs? Like as in they're okay. So you guys are familiar with Gnosticism, right?
yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So
It's
the
a
Gnostic.
hot button topic on this show.
Oh yes. So I have no quarrels with the Gnostics or anything like that. I don't consider myself a Gnostic or anything, but they do have a very good explanation to that, to the idea of NPCs or people that are not aware or whatever, right? Which is the Helix, the Psychics, and the Pneumatics. With the Helix being the NPCs, the Psychics being the ones that are kind of aware, which could be anyone that is listening to the show and us included, right? Like we're aware. We're asking questions. We're wondering what's going on. And obviously, if I know I'm real, then that means that you guys are real because we're talking, right?
Right.
And then you have your pneumatics, which are, like your Buddhas and Jesus and just people that like get it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I have this little fun exercise with NPCs, right? So pretend that like it's been a great day. You had a good day at work. You have a fat ass joint. The weather is beautiful. You're driving down the highway, listening to your favorite music, and you put your windows down. Okay. And you feel that bliss and you're happy and you're excited and you're just zoning out. What about those people who are just driving with their windows all the way up? Better yet, what about those people that are wearing a mask by themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they real?
Dude, now you're getting into some NPC shit, which is
yes.
really interesting to me. Like, I see people just walking down the street like, is this Grand Theft Auto? Is that just a street hooker walking with that purposeful walk?
Dude, there was a video of a guy this week who was on an airplane and just started smoking a cigarette like it was on autopilot, and the guy's videoing him like just hand to mouth. And people around him are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And finally the steward comes down and is like, sir, you can't smoke on an airplane. And it's like the guy like woke up or something and was like, I'm sorry.
that.
Not to go too far, yo. Have you guys seen those like compilations of DJ Khaled just saying outrageous shit? Like my
DJ
friend
Khaled?
just sent me, DJ Khaled.
And what's he doing?
Another one.
Just
Another one.
No, dude,
I mean,
he
he's
just says
wacky, yeah.
outrageous shit, right? And it's like, is this guy even real?
And he's in and
Oh,
now that
snaps. You're going
And
even
he's in
deeper.
everything.
I like his shoes.
all
I
right,
have to say.
all right, and now that you mention that, by the reason I don't think he's real is because he's from Palestine and he won't stand his ground on any of that.
You've worked that into almost every episode for the
I
last
have
month.
not.
So but
No, but that is
hold on.
that is
You
the
really
point.
think DJ Khaled isn't real?
Not as a real human being like me and you. I mean, yeah, he walks around and eats food like a fat ass person, like real person. He does consume energy, but I don't think he's like real. Like I don't think you can have a conversation about.
Hold on.
God.
So hold on. So you think there is a physical DJ Khaled, but he's a live action role player, meaning
Yes.
that he does that for life. Like what I
NPC.
believe is like what I honestly believe Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are. They're playing lifetime roles.
I think he would
they
be
just
one of them.
step into him.
Yeah, I think he'd be another one that just steps into this role.
Hey guys, I can't sleep enough. No matter what, I need to sleep, and that's why I love Helix. Let me tell you about Helix mattresses. That's right, helixsleep.com. Listen, I love sleep. You love sleep. We all need to sleep. We spend most of our time sleeping, and your mattress is the most important part of your sleep. Without a mattress, what are you going to do? And that's why I want to tell you about the people at Helix Sleep. Listen, they have one of the best out there. I mean, dude, I love Helix Sleep, dude. My favorite Helix mattress, let me tell you about it. Bang! It's a Helix Midnight Lux. That thing is like warm butter sleeping in. It's the best. Dude, I don't know what I would do without my Helix mattress. Do you guys have a Helix mattress?
Absolutely, I do. Yes, I love it.
Dude,
Sleep on it every night.
I'm taking the
Fantastic.
quiz right now.
He's taking the quiz right now. Look at he's lying about how tall he was. Like he's like Helix is
You're
test is like a
65
chick.
feet?
That's
You're
the lie.
65.
That's the lie. Not the person I'm sleeping with.
There we go. So Kim Kardashian's nice, dude. Nice. So you go there. It's a real quick quiz. It's fast. It's easy. It's fun, and it will help you figure out which one of Helix's 20 unique mattresses, including their award-winning Luxe collection, the newly released Helix Elite collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress for just kids. Whatever mattress, it's going to figure out which one's the best one for you and personalize it. That's right, dude. Get your personalized mattress, and it's shipped straight to your door, free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home. In your home with your own mattress. And that's why they're going to give you a 100-night trial. That's right. And a 10 to 15-year warranty, man. Come on, what last?
Trial? Wow.
A trial.
On a mattress.
A trial. That's right. For a mattress. Everyone's unique and everyone sleeps differently. That's why Helix has several different models to choose from. Each one is designed specifically for specific sleep positions and feel preference. Wow. It's that great. So here's what we want you to do. It's really that simple. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/tinfoil. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. So go to helixsleep.com/tinfoil to get 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows for just Tinfoil Hat listeners. That's helixsleep.com/tinfoil to get this amazing offer. Enjoy your sleep.
There's a lot of people in mass media and especially in places of like high power, right? That and I've met a few, surprisingly, through my time in the service, and like I just looked at them. I'm like, you're not a real person. Like the way you act and the way you move and everything about them, like they're just not real. They're just, like I said, they're just driving on a nice day with their windows all the way up. They're not enjoying anything.
It is very interesting, dude. I think about this all the time. I 100% believe, even if you don't want to believe, there's like multiple dimensions on like a large scale, on a very micro scale. I think each of us live in our own dimension. I'm starting to really do believe that.
Yeah,
that these algorithms are changing everybody's reality, and it's crazy to me how things I go, yeah, duh, people 100% reject as just conspiracy and crazy, and you're like, no, that's actually real.
And
you could argue.
You could argue that the whole COVID-19 fucking scandemic bullshit was a perfect example of that, of how, and I'm not talking about whoever had to get the vaccine for work and they had a discussion. Like, no, I'm talking about the people who just blindly did all this, but then when it came to the protest, they were just outside, like nothing happened.
Well, it's so funny. I knew a guy like that where like
Yes.
1 week he was like tweeting the governor that people are walking around Venice Beach without masks on. And then the following week, he was a BLM march with no mask on, celebrating marching. Yes. And I'm like, dude, what? It's so crazy how hold on, dude. Hold on. Just hold on. I'll get to you. But we're like, it flips back and forth all the time. And it's like crazy to me because it's like, do you understand the hypocrisy of what you're doing? Like, and you see that all the time as well, because it's like Ben Shapiro, right? Ben Shapiro will like laugh at college kids who can't hear alternative theories and then instantly call for the expulsion of people who have alternative theories to his thoughts. And like, he doesn't even think twice about it. It's like a friends of mine who were like 100% like, it's like my body, my choice. But then when it came to the vaccine, they were just like, no, dude, you got to get it. It's for the better health. You're like, it doesn't even make any fucking sense to me at all in any way how they can flip flop on this thing, and how like literally COVID, like you still see people at Target or wherever, 2 masks on, walking around like they're doing everything they can to just survive. My own family members have that. My mother, who I love with all my heart. I love her, like outside of my children, probably love my mother more. Like my kids and her and Dana, right? That's how it goes, right? You guys are in there too. Congratulations, guys. But it's like my mother is like, I love her so much, and like we were going to the airport. She's wearing her mask at the airport. I go, Mom, look around. Is anyone dropping dead here? Is anyone dropping dead? Nobody's dropping dead. We're all still alive. Sam, let me live my life the way I want to live my life. You're like, okay, but like those people, they are battling the forces of evil, escaping from COVID every day because they got a face diaper on. And but everyone else is walking around. I do not care. I don't care. So what were you going to say?
Before you go that, so your friend, let's think about it. Now that you think about this guy that flip-flopped, do you think he's a sheep, NPC, weak-minded, someone that just plays the narrative? Like now that you think about it, like you said your friend
I think he's programmed. I think he's 100% programmed. And it's crazy to me. It's like my friend, I'm not going to say his name, but how he was like okay with BLM because they're fighting the racist system of America. But when the people who marched on January 6th went to the place where the racist system was installed, suddenly that is the most upsetting thing he's ever seen in his fucking life.
That's why this is brilliant. What they've done is because those are people who should be allied. They should be together, against the system. But they've made it so that they will never, not for generations, will those people ever get together.
You had the BLM one guy come out going, I support.
Right, but in mass, it's never going to happen because they've got biases that will be passed down for generations now.
Or the people who are anti-Ukraine, but then are deep throating Israel.
Yeah.
And you think about January 6th, anti-abortion, BLM, pro-abortion. That's it. That's it. Two different things. They can't even talk to each other because they're a whole different thing on a whole different concept that has nothing to do with it.
And dude, if you watch MSNBC right now, they are just pounding this abortion thing because they know that will energize their base. Yeah. But I even think they're losing that argument right now because you can only hit that so many times before people are like, it doesn't get you the same thing. So what were you going to say, dude?
Oh, yes. And it's funny that you bring up abortion because that's also it has a lot to do with the human technologies, because what is your body in a fetus, right? Like what kind of energy are you receiving from your mother to the fetus that then it becomes a conscious being?
Whoa.
Now that's what I was going to bring me back into the whole NPC thing, right? So the best way, and we're going to go back to computers real quick. So think of human bodies as a computer, right? As a hardware computer system. Your spine is this Wi-Fi antenna of some sort that is receiving and getting information and frequencies left and right from both the physical and also the ethereal or the spiritual, right? Now, your soul is that operating system or that software that is running the machine. That's just the easiest way to explain the theory of NPCs, because now you could argue that you mentioned the word programming. And yes, it is programming, because with this magic, right, this psychological operation of manipulation that they're developing, now they program the individual to the point that their software is completely written to the point that now they can just receive whatever is given to them, which we can go back to Crowley. And what thing did he have with Thelema in which the person had to accept something to be inside of them?
His dick.
His dick, yes. So there's this thing in Thelema in which he supposedly asked that if you received something, you had to say yes, you had to allow it to come into you.
Just like a vampire.
Exactly.
No, but that is exactly at the highest level. Okay, go on, and then I'm going to jump out because I love where you're going. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, but that is what every single manifestation event is. Every single one of them is that they are getting you to ask them to come save you. You don't have to listen. So one of the greatest arguments for God is the devil is evil. It is dark occult magic is one of the greatest arguments for God, because if there is darkness, there must be light. It just has to be like that. If there is evil, there is love. It's just the way it is. It's just how the universe is. So when you go back to what you were talking about with Crowley, which is amazing, is like that's what these manifestations are, which is problem, reaction, solution. They cause the problem. They elicit a certain reaction, which is us manifesting them to come save us, which is the solution.
With that comes the consent.
Yes.
And that is a big, big thing. And that's when we get into the BLM stuff, because now me, as I'm observing, I see that these people were acting X way, and then all of a sudden they're acting Y. So from everybody stay inside to everybody go out. And that was the first clue that, okay, there's a massive thing going on. There's the people have flip-flop back and forth. Something is not right. Something is not right. And then we saw how it escalated dramatically. Now, let me open something really quick, because
as you talk about that, because I want to, while you're looking up your stuff and getting ready, the BLM stuff was all a astroturfed consent stuff to kick off the BLM torching, the Antifa BLM torching of the country, so people would stay home and vote via a mail-in, because that was the only way they were going to win. They were losing every way to Donald Trump, and I make no illusions that Donald Trump is a savior. He is a crime boss. If you look at him that way, he's my favorite crime boss, right? he really is. Of
He's Tony Soprano.
He's Tony Soprano.
He's your favorite.
He
boss.
is. Out of all of them, he's my favorite one. So, of the fictitious ones. But if you study what they did with that, they selectively edited that video, okay? And they cut it out so it looks like he dies from a knee on his neck, which isn't real. The guy OD'd. And it's just like every conspiracy theorist told you. He was ODing. He was dying. Now, if you go, why should Derek Chauvin be in jail? Is because he was an emergency responder who didn't handle the emergency correctly, which was that he had a guy ODing. Now through
that just doesn't start riots.
Yeah, 100%. And Miriam Hamim, I'm probably messing up his
Hanan,
last.
right? Hanan.
Yeah, she did a great movie on it.
Wait up. He's not a cop?
Who? Chauvin?
No, he's saying that cops are supposed to also be emergency.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you're reacting to a situation.
Course, yeah.
If you have somebody OD and you're supposed to deal with it immediately. But as she said, by the way, something's on my camera right now. If you see it. Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, she was talking about how he, who's the guy that died? Well, George Floyd had done this 3 times before. He'd swallowed his drugs before. This was the habit that he did. And what's that?
I was going to say, now, since we're talking about George Floyd, right? What are the odds?
Oh, here we go. I love this.
What are the odds that this man, right? This man was a porn star, Big Floyd, right? And he also happened to know the guy that killed him, essentially, quote unquote, in this really meticulous, intricate video that was shot at a specific time frame and released at a specific time to trigger a specific response. So then this protest happened at a specific time that they wanted maybe a specific Sky event that they wanted to spoil, which is what I was going to send you guys right now, because everything was orchestrated.
If you wish, you can share your screen too, if that helps.
It's okay. I'm going to send you the link.
Okay.
That
who are you sending it to?
To you, Johnny.
Okay.
There you go. So so in computer science, when you write a computer program, right, and you got to give something a value. So think of as a person that is empty, and not to disrespect George Floyd's family or whatever the case is, but let's be honest here. He was a piece of shit. He was empty. He was an empty variable. He was an NPC. And does that make sense? Like he lived his life in a very low frequency. I mean, and all these things happened to him to the point that he ended up, in a situation in which he was put with this $20 bill, and all these things happened to him, right?
Yes.
For this reaction that exploded to this level, it sounds to me like he's been, in a way, groomed from the very beginning to serve this purpose. Therefore, he's not real. He's another character.
Okay, so but you think he exists though, right?
Yes, of course. They exist. They're real people. And
So
that's the problem is that these are real people. They're not real in the sense that they're not aware. They're not
Do you think they have souls? Do you think they have souls?
I just want to say that their souls are not activated. And that's why I made the whole idea of it's an empty computer without a software that's
enslaved, kind of.
Exactly. And a lot of religion has been based on this about, freeing the soul and receiving this enlightenment and whatnot. It's the same concept. These are empty individuals that receive these entities or these things because now that they're empty vessels, they can just float around and they can jump from one place to the other. And that's what I do. I get rid of them.
Hold on, we'll get into that real quick. Like, pin that conversation. You get rid of them, okay? I want to ask you, are you saying that? So he is George Floyd, but he doesn't realize the role he's playing?
Correct.
See, that's my opinion on Jeff Bezos. I mean, no one on this show calls me crazy, but when you find out that his father is the founded DARPA, his grandfather, like how can you believe that he just worked? He outworked everybody. He's a harder worker than you. He didn't sleep, Eddie. He was a nerd dork in his garage selling books to everybody. You're like, bro, he helped the government work out the kinks for online sales. And they used books because they knew nobody gave a fuck about books. That's why they use books.
Is he in the same category as Elon Musk to you?
100%. Elon Musk is the exact same thing. Now, as much as I love Twitter right now, I make no illusions that Elon Musk is here to save fucking anybody.
So him saying fuck those companies, fuck advertisement, that was just...
I don't even know. That may be part of his role as well. I mean, like the cucking of him in Israel, that was done to show everybody we're going to get butt from you whether you want it or not. We're going to get your butt.
They're all actors. They're all just actors. They're all just characters playing this game that serves a greater purpose.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting thing that happened, all right? During those protests, that whole week that it happened, this is what was happening at the same time.
Jupiter to Saturn?
Yep. And what do we know about Saturn? What do we know about Jupiter?
Tell me. I know about Saturn. Tell me about Jupiter.
So, since we already affirmed that, that the ether is real and the terrain theory is real, okay? And it's tinfoil hats. Let's go crazy. So the stars, right? These planets, these luminars in the sky, they are beacons, right? They're kind of like cell phone towers to send signals from one place to the other. They're portals. And if a lot of the times, if you do some type of event that is, and to be fair, this is where the idea of horoscopes come from, by the way. This is why they say that Dick's personality revolves around this type of traits because of this star. And for some reason, we equate that to like, a whole bunch of bored chicks on BuzzFeed. But no, the horoscopes and all those things they've been around for millennia. This is like, they're older than the science that we know today. And it's been very accurate. So, if you see that shows you that they were trying to do something in particular at that time during those protests to harness a specific energy. And it was all orchestrated from the very beginning when George Floyd, that incident happened to that date just for that.
Hold on.
What we know about Saturn.
So the date you have right now is the day the thing happened with George Floyd?
No, that's the day where the protests were taking place, in which these people were receiving these entities going crazy back and forth at the same time.
I agree. I think this is totally 100% plausible, if not accurate. I think everything is energy fucking harvesting. I think they're all fucking energy vampires. I totally believe all this. I mean, if you watch these rappers, what's his name that got in trouble for all those people dying? You know, dude, dude, the things that these rappers have people singing, they're all, you know, they're speaking words into existence.
Yeah.
Like, I'll listen to songs that I love saying, and I'll be like, okay, I ain't saying that,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
I ain't saying that.
Yes,
Chanting.
and that's
it's chanting.
it is. It's music, and we can get into music. That's one of the reasons why, like, I don't have a podcast. I don't have a website. All of my work that I do is very word of mouth. I'm very low key, and the only thing I have is a band that I created after the riots as a fuck you to them. To be honest, it was like a way of how else am I gonna battle these fucking things? I just gotta fight with what they do, which is music.
Fire or fire.
Basically. Yeah, so as you see on those dates that I on that star thing, those correlated on the dot to the protest, which I'm not gonna say his name because, you know, but the guy who was working with the police department in Philadelphia is a very good friend of mine. He's kind of the liaison that works with the protesters or whatever. And in conversation,
Johnson.
I asked him, and he said they had this they had this permit for a month. They had this orchestrated.
Whoa!
They had everything.
Bro, whoa! You're totally. That's just a truth bomb. They had a permit for a month to do that.
And this is not a conspiracy theory. You could.
No, you're right.
You could audit the city of Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure they'll fucking give you all that shit. And it shows that they already had everything predetermined. Everything was done already. Like, they were ready for this.
You're totally right. That's the same thing with January 6th. I forget the guy, the Indian guy who was talking about who used to work, I think in Trump's administration. He was like, I've done cases against the FBI, with the FBI, against the FBI, in CIA. I know how intelligence works. You can't just have people show up. It is like a 2-month process of setting up this situation. So when you find out that all of these intelligence officers were at January 6th, that was done on purpose. Which brings you into what role does Trump have? Which is a big role. We're going to go there. We're going to be peaceful. We're going to march on that. You're like, oh, dude, you got everybody there so that the fucking agents can do their thing. And you had Ray Epps going, we're here to storm. We're really just here to storm the castle. He whispered it. If you watch that Laura Logan, have you seen that?
Yeah.
She's got fat cans, by the way.
Oh, she's lovely.
Right, she's hot as shit. But she broke down that video with Baked Alaska where Ray Epps leans in, goes, we're just here to storm the Capitol.
Yeah,
That's what we're going inside. And walks off.
More than once, he said too. There's another time too. Like
No, but he's going, we're gonna go inside the Capitol Bill. But he leans in, going, we're
Right,
only
but
here to do that.
Then you see him like after that, like he's the one that kind of moves the barrier out of the way too. It's like, it's damning.
So you know how we talk about agent provocateurs or whatever?
Yeah, good job.
And thank you. And I've been using Babbel.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I said pot depository, so who can I judge? Go on.
So,
that's on the next show. Damn.
ah,
Shoot,
okay.
cut that
It's
out.
okay.
Cut that out.
You know the future. It's amazing.
yeah. So we the agent provocateurs. We always wonder why they're there, how they're there. So those are FBI agents. They already had permits. They already pretty much knew that their job. Hey, the second the protests come in, you come in with the bricks, and we hype this thing out more.
Yeah.
This is, well, yes and no. That's the part where I'm probably gonna get shit. Oh, you're a shill, blah 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 blah. And once again, full disclaimer, I was there.
Where?
No, I was there not on January 6th, but I was there during the riots, with the BLM riots, and I work with some of these guys from federal agencies, right? It's along the lines that no one has a fucking clue what's going on.
So explain this. You work with guys from the federal agencies. What does that mean?
So they were with us during the riots because obviously it's a high critical event. So they're always there in situations like this. Every major city has their own hubs of internal officers that they work with. That doesn't mean that they're there to be agent provocateurs, although agent provocateurs do exist. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are from a specific federal agency.
So,
because
but wouldn't it mean that if somebody is there, somebody had to ask them to show up and cause the chaos.
Correct. And that's when we're talking about foreign agents. And that's when you have the arguments of other individuals and other actors acting in these situations. Because I'm telling you right now, dude, in situations like that, the whole radio is just fucking nonstop chatter. And along the lines that nobody knows what's happening.
Okay. What do you mean the radio?
There's, as in, like, information keeps being flowed from one place to the other. Like, there's no, like, set, like, you can identify an individual, but then at least in that situation, at least in the situation that I was in, it's along the lines that you have federal, and then you have city, and then you have us, and then we have different jurisdictions of different people working, doing multiple things at once. That, to put it this way, the quote unquote agent provocateurs, they had no IDs. Along the lines that not only that they didn't have any IDs, they were like mentally challenged. So do you tell me that's a federal agent?
So hold on. So let me just say a couple things. One is along the lines of what you're talking about. That's what I believe is September 11th, 9/11, is that there's so many layers to it, and each layer doesn't
Correct.
know about the other layer.
Exactly.
Okay, and there are agent provocateurs from foreign countries, the dancing Israelis, the Israeli art students. That's there. Obviously, the hijackers, which I don't believe they were on the plane. I think that's all bullshit. Okay, I don't know what they did with the passengers, if they're still with us or not. All bullshit. Okay, all bullshit.
Like, you maybe even think they didn't exist?
I don't know. I mean, like, I there's some people who lost some people that day that are no longer with us. So, I mean, I don't know. I just know that two of the guys.
I don't know why you'd ever think they wouldn't kill people in an operation like that.
But it's also that two humongous human beings. Hey, will you look up when Family Guy came out?
The year?
Yeah. What year did Family Guy come out? And then what year did they bring it back?
Came out in 99.
Came out in 99. Interesting.
2 years before.
Right? And then when it come back?
What do you mean?
It was Family Guy is notoriously known as one of the only shows ever to be canceled to be brought back.
Third season aired in 2002 with one unaired episode eventually premiering on Adult Swim in 2003. Favorable DVD sales led to Fox to revive the show in 2004. And it came back on air in May 2005.
So super interesting that this guy that lost his show gets it back. He's one of the few people that, hey, I'm not going to make the flight. I'm not going to do it. Him and Mark Wahlberg. And look how big both their empires are right now.
I don't know. They also don't look like real people.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Sesame Farm.
Well, it doesn't matter whether you're.
No, I mean just of his beliefs. Like he's super negative about. I mean, I think that sci-fi show he does is good, but have you heard him talk? I mean, just about religion and stuff. He's super negative about God.
I'm just saying that it's kind of crazy that the two famous people
I get what you're saying.
that weren't didn't make the are both like probably billionaires,
and they love to talk about it.
You know.
Well, James Woods, who's on the other side of things, has a crazy story about how he was on a test flight with the hijackers, like right before that, and reported it to the FBI, of course. And
again, but it's like I don't even believe that there were any hijackers on those planes. I think that was all Operation Northwoods.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much easier for them to just fake that part and then have it droned out.
And just kill everybody on there but you got to have a couple people that can sing the tales of how lucky
and you
they
think
are.
the phone calls from the one that crashed, those are just fake.
Total bullshit.
Fake.
But going back that each one of those are layers. Now, I do believe that, we find out later on, we've done enough studies on CIA. I mean, like the one episode we had with, Austin, who came, Austin, what's his last name? He came on recently, Picard. Yeah, Austin Picard. He came on, talked about how like that PatCon is like everywhere. They've infiltrated every part of the patriotic movement. I mean, I love Alex Jones. I love a lot of these guys, but I mean, like that, you got all this like group of guys like who have huge CIA connections,
No,
having
I
a
wanna
contact,
emphasize
meeting.
I'm not denying that those things that the government doesn't infiltrate these groups. By the way, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
Why are you saying that? No.
in these specific instances, right? Let's say in the instances where there's a protest and there's chaos, right? All I'm saying is that there's a lot of moving pieces. So to say that a federal agency from here, from this country, or this other federal agency did X it's a little far-fetched because there's a lot going on all at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you can't put the bricks on any agency, but the bricks were there.
Correct, but the bricks were there.
They
and
were
that's
there
my-
like that. Who knows what agency it was? You can't
Correct.
say FBI, you can't say CIA, but someone brought the fucking bricks.
Oh,
Right?
you know
Somebody
what
was
that's
there.
called? You know what that's called? That's called government cutouts. That's where the government hires outside agencies, and so they have plausible deniability.
Now, the interesting thing about that, right, is that as we're all now, we're gonna go back to the actual marches, right? As we're there and fucking getting yelled at and having shit thrown at us and all sorts of things, right? It was interesting because you had a lot of people, right? Obviously, you got people screaming at you saying, "Well, fuck you, you fucking fascist motherfucker, white supremacist." Well, my last name is like fucking as Mexican
Yeah.
as it gets,
Dude,
you know, and it was like mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
I have this
so
funny
hilarious.
story. I was sitting with this guy who's from Africa, and obviously we're both not white, and we have this girl with like orange hair, like fucking screaming at us, saying that we're racist and all these things. And then my friend just looks up, he looks next to me, he's like, "Doesn't this fucking bitch know that we're brown?" And the girl just looked at us and like walked away because there's no argument there. Like, what does she have to say?
Yeah, you're totally right, dude.
Now, that was one of the instances when I realized that this girl is fucking possessed. Because think about someone who, and this is why I said that I have no political things or whatever, but we're gonna take a couple jabs on liberals, right? Liberalism is rooted into the idea that you're empathetic, that you care for your fellow man or women or whatever it is, that you care about.
Trans, non-binary.
Yes, that yes, and you care about animals and the environment and all these things.
yes.
You could argue that people that are liberal ideas tend to have a more empathetic soul, perhaps, and because they're more empathetic, they're more sensitive. Then you could say that they're more susceptible to having these things go inside of them.
I think you know what's so funny? It's like there used to be this discussion that I remember people were like, I forget what the exact term was, but it was like liberals have a higher level of college graduates in their group, and back in the day you associate that with intelligence, but now
Correct.
you realize that that's just really. They're more gullible and they've been programmed more, and they tend to get more programmed, and they tend to come from, there's this dangerous line where you become rich enough that it's actually detrimental to your children because they wake up with no purpose. They grow up with no purpose, and they actually end up searching for purpose, and their purpose tends to be other people's lives, like saving others and fighting windmills, being Don Quixote, thinking you're battling, monsters. In reality, it's just a windmill, and that becomes their whole identity because everything is wonderful, And does that mean I'm right? Does that mean I'm right? Did I hit it?
FBI calling.
But yeah, which means they're a lot more programmable, and that is. High school is two things. It is to program you, okay? And it's also data. What is they're trying to learn data on you. And what they learn is if you're on the dean's list, you're on the principal's list, you're all this stuff, it really does mean that you have an ability to follow rules. And that's what they really want.
Very important. It's very important to follow rules.
Not only follow rules, but tell your teacher what they want to hear. So did you hear that a kid got an answer wrong in Oregon or Washington because he said only women can have children, and his teacher marked him wrong? That right there is an example of what public education in America is right at this stage.
Do you not get a sense that they are sensationalizing the reality of that. And
I mean, that's all Libs of TikTok is. She is.
Yeah, you've mentioned
the
that before,
woman
yeah.
who is that. She is from a legacy media family that like owns a bunch of.
Because I know, like, where I'm from, that's not what's going on.
No, but they want you to think everyone's blue haired and all that stuff. But that is I mean, maybe that's not even a real story. Maybe that's not even real.
I mean, Instagram's been really good at that. Have you seen these fake skits where they make it seem real and they're real fake, like the airport one where she was telling her to sit down. She's like, "No, ma'am," and then you post, and then all of a sudden you find out they're fake.
Yeah.
I think that's,
dude, so much of that shit. It gets passed around Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just completely
No, you
fake.
want to get
It's
the
all
worst
fake.
is Snapchat. Have you ever gone on Snapchat and watched
I try not to.
Snapchat comedy? Snapchat comedy is the worst. Just stick to hookers and escorts and whatever weird shit goes on there, dude. Okay? It's just, what are we doing over there? You know,
It's
go
the same
on.
thing with TikTok, obviously. You know, it's just made there. The algorithm is put forth to just give you a reaction so you can click on it. And now you're giving your energy to it. Whether it's a negative or a positive energy, you're still feeding off of it. You're still feeding that thing with your energy, with your attention span at all times.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because that's
Pay
what
attention. Pay attention.
and that's what that's what these high events are for. It's to now, okay, so back to the protests real quick. Because that was a very interesting thing. Another thing that kind of stuck to me was this lady was riding on a bike, and it was like a scene of a horror movie. And I'm talking about this was a lady that she just looked like a mom, and she was on this cruiser bike with flowers on it, just saying, "You guys are gonna get shot now," like a psychopath, just going back and forth, taunting us to get a reaction from us because now she's being possessed by the programming. And she feels that it's okay to cause that chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's manifestation.
And a lot of the stuff, so anyway, so the main thing that after all this protests and stuff like that that was happening, we ended up breaking some of the rules, and we started talking to these people and trying to kind of explain to them what was happening and whatnot. And some of them just, decided to fuck off and not speak to us. And other people really changed their tone, and they started rationalizing what was happening. And they just went home. Right now, that's the difference between someone who was possessed and it was actually angry versus someone who was just actively there looking for a response, that it was just violent in nature. Because if you speak to someone, right, if you tell them, like, it's kind of like, let's say you're trying to de-escalate a situation, and with you either get into a fight or you resolve the situation and you leave. But what if that small argument turns into a murder? Like, what drives people to do that? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's 100% interesting to follow kind of what you're talking about. I think like they call alcoholic spirits, and I see people who are on speed, just they look possessed.
Yeah,
it's like the Agent Smith.
Yes,
right. Everyone says you turn into like you get in a political argument, and all of a sudden Agent Smith shows up yelling at you about like how you're wrong about this, or like Trump's a bad person, or whatever it might be. Agent Smith shows up. It's the same thing with the drugs and alcohol. Just you put them in you, the spirit. I mean, people who are bad tweakers looked possessed to me.
Yeah, and that's because they are. And I'm glad we can jump now into the whole psychic defense thing, because that's actually how I started my work. I was working with drug addicts for a very long time. And I was working in a pain management office as a massage therapist here in Philadelphia, right in the Kensington area, which is where the hub of fentanyl and fucking bullshit was happening back then. And that's actually what led me to this work, because I noticed that the only thing that was actually helping them was energy work, which was essentially getting rid of the entity that was possessing them.
Okay, talk to me about that.
So we already established what human technologies are, right? You guys have any questions with that?
No.
We're good? Okay.
We are
And
good.
we already know also that obviously the human body and people's reactions really are affected by their environment around them through high critical events. So one thing I've noticed with drug addicts was, like you said, a lot of the times, and this is going to trigger a few people, and I'm very sorry, but a lot of the times it's not genetic. I realized that there was this X factor that was missing to the person. A lot of the times it also wasn't situational, because more often than not, some of these people came from good households. They had a good life. Of course, there were some that were abused and had other issues, but for the most part, when I spoke to them, and this wasn't just heroin, this was alcohol, this was even sex, any type of addiction of any type of sort.
Yes, yes, and yes.
That will give you that. It was just because you're fucking possessed, and that entity is feeding off of you in that frequency. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I totally get that. And that's why you got to pray. When you pray to God, you run those things out of you. I'm praying to God about stopping watching porn. It's a battle. It's a real battle.
Yeah. And I understand how we, the two-step programs and a lot of these help, or these organizations that help people get clean and whatnot. And I've seen it. Of course they work. But there's always that one factor, and I've seen this because I know, dude, I one thing is to see it, another thing is to fucking work with them every single day, going into a circle every single day. And I know that you've had your issues before, so you know what I'm talking about. That, like, you could argue these people are just possessed. Like the reaction that they have, the way that they're doing it. And then another thing that dawned on me was that they were not only possessed, but they also came in pairs with another person that was feeding off of them. And the moment that I started, and I was doing this with the full disclaimer also, the practice is no longer open. I don't even speak to the doctor anymore because insurance companies really fucked us over. But, you know, healthcare industry is like that. And we started treating patients like that. And we saw a huge result and a huge difference in every single one of them. And I remember that we started working very closely with other small practices and even small hospitals in the area until mysteriously we just got fucked over by insurance companies and we had an audit. Damn. Isn't that crazy how that works?
That's crazy. That's nuts. Damn.
But, you know, either way, it really helped out. It really, and mind you, a little background on her. She actually was Indian doctor that practiced Indian medicine and became a physician. And a lot of the stuff we did was rooted into Ayurveda, which is old Indian Hindu medicine, with a combination of like, she's the one who kind of, because when I started working with her, I was very, I was training. I wanted to be a physician, and I had this, you know, I was an atheist and all these things. And she kind of did turn it around and was like, look, dude, this is nuts. This is some of these people. Yeah, we can give them meds, but there's something more with them. And then she gave me this whole thing on Sunni Islam and jinns and spirits and all this crap. And yeah, man, it's real. And that's kind of what solidified my proof when you start seeing these people that were in these medicines and with this constant pain, constantly just battling it out. And then all of a sudden, through some work with meditation and massage and even their own selves, because obviously a lot of it was also helping them help themselves. All of a sudden, they just became better. And what dawned me was when I had this person say, it's kind of like I was possessed.
So I want to get into some more stuff about BLM. And
yeah, sure.
I'm looking over your notes you sent me, and it's super interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So no. I want to get it to you. Tell me, go over the locations in the protests. They basically happened on ley lines. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So during the riots that I was in, I started looking. I think you've had people on your show before talk about Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a very interesting city. There's a reason why I was the capital in the very beginning, and there's a lot of architecture that is Masonic in nature per se, that was put specifically for specific reasons. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the protests and a lot of these key events are close to these monuments and this architecture. You can the Kenosha, the riots in Kenosha is a perfect example too. When the whole thing happened with the Kyle Rittenhouse guy and all that stuff, I mapped it out. I mapped out the location, and it was close to a Masonic temple. And you see this pattern along most of these high critical events, in which every time they happen, they are near a specific monument, typically an obelisk, like January 6th, right? Or 9/11, right? There's an obelisk, and that represents something and gets into sacred geometry. They're used to, that's kind of like the beacon that sends the energy back in mass. That's the reason why you see a lot of these
amplifiers.
Correct. And that's the reason why you see a lot of these obelisks in national cemeteries, for example. Not just in America, but in other places around the world. It's a thing. And it's because they're harnessing the souls of the dead warriors. There's a whole thing behind that too.
What?
It's soul harnessing energies.
What?
This is what the Freemasons essentially were hiding. This is what they were supposed to keep secret. They don't even know anymore either. You know, they don't even know what they're doing. And it's all open there. It's all geometry. It's all Greek geometry. If you understand high ritual magic and you read a fucking Elements by Euclid, one of the most iconic books of mathematics in all of history, it's essentially just a
What's the book?
Elements. It's a geometry book. It's just a simple geometry book that was written by Euclid, one of those Greek mathematicians from like millennia ago. It's just a guidebook to make these sigils. You just have to read it differently. That's it. It's just manipulating the mass. No, I'm sorry, manipulating the energy around you by modifying the mass that it's around the person or around the space. Think of it as a fish that is swimming through a giant stream, and then whatever you put that rock, the stream is going to flow a different direction. That's what the Egyptians did it. The Incas did it. I'm Peruvian, and that's actually one of the things I've been studying was the ancient Incas and all these pyramids and all that stuff. They were just beacons to manipulate energy. Now, you could argue that this has been told before, but I guess there's never really been a connection between these high critical events and this architecture, but it's all over the place. You just literally go on Wikipedia, find where 9/11 happened, get the coordinates where 9/11 happened, and then just look to your nearest Masonic temple, and 9 times out of 10, it's right there.
Okay. So, I mean, now I want to get in some crazy stuff. I mean, so you got into some elementals and stuff like that. Like, so I brought up fallen angels to you earlier. Do you believe that there's a war between God and fallen angels?
There is a war, and that's actually, unfortunately, what a lot of what I do with psychic defense, because I'm in the middle of this bullshit, and I mean it's tinfoil hat, right?
Yeah,
So
let's go, bro. Let's go. We're here for the hand-to-hand combat with these fallen assholes.
And that's what BLM, or that thing, that's what it was. It was, to me, was that you're put in this position and you already know this, and you have to fucking do something about it. And you've had plenty of people in the past on the show, and there's plenty of other people in literature talk about that there's a fight between this entity and that entity, right? The eagle versus the serpent, the fallen angels versus the angels, all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that based on the work that I've done and that I do, that shit doesn't matter, in the sense that both demons and angels work with each other, because these two entities that are fighting are beyond our comprehension. And this is the part where I'm still trying to gather my brain around it, because it's a little it can get a little heavy. But I've actually come to the conclusion, and this is probably gonna be that dangerous conversation, that we are the fallen angels. Us humans.
Damn.
We are the fallen angels. We are that X factor. I don't know if anyone, people talk about fallen angels constantly, and I get it. I understand it. I've read the Torah. I've read the Kabbalah. I've read the book of Enoch. And based on what I'm reading, and if we put into perspective all the floods that have happened and have deleted history, which we're not going to get into that because that's a whole nother fucking episode, then it seems to me that we are that thing that has that spark that makes divinity and makes us divine. Therefore, we're the fallen angels. So you could argue that it's a fight between us and these things in other, realms that are fucking with us. It's a fight between the human mind and the human consciousness and the human soul versus these things that are beyond our comprehension, because we're the ones who are trapped, not them.
Interesting. Well, we are
I hope I
down
didn't go too
here.
deep on that one.
Sam said we are down here.
We are down here, dude. I mean,
Yes.
Fallen.
I
We
know.
had fallen.
you know?
And yes, and that is the one part that I get it, man, because I felt the same way. Like, and I actually have see, with the work that I do, I'm friends with everybody, dude. I talk to rabbis. I have a friend who's a Satanist. I talk to conservative Christians. I talk to atheists. I don't give a fuck. I talk to anybody. And it's funny because I was under that impression too of like, there's this other things that were created and the Anunnaki and all these things. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. We're that one. We're the ones who can create. We're the ones who can actually perform magic. I mean, shit, just talking to the computer, that's magic. My dog can do that. My dog doesn't operate in that type of consciousness. The same thing goes with those plants that I have in my living room. They don't understand that. They're still living conscious beings, but they don't create. And creation is that one X factor that is what was given to us. That's when it gets into the whole topic of Luciferianism. Because we are the ones who got the light from the light bearer.
That's Lucifer.
Well, Lucifer is just, Lucifer is not real. Like Lucifer, if you really think about it, Lucifer is Jesus. He's the one who's giving us knowledge.
Damn.
Going deep. Going deep.
And that's the uncomfortable truth, is that we are the fallen angels. We are the ones who are being attacked right now because we are the ones who are in this lower realm. We are the ones who cannot make magic. We're the ones who, when we are born, we have to learn everything again, including our past lives, including our relationship with other people, even our history. We're the ones who have the handicap. We're the ones who are being attacked upon.
Have you learned your past lives?
I have, unfortunately.
Anything interesting there? What's the work involved? What's the work involved with doing that too, as a follow-up?
What's up?
The first question is, please tell me the interesting points from your past lives. And then second, what's the work involved in recovering those memories?
Johnny wants to know if he had Russian peasant tits back in his past life.
Yeah. And what it was like to
Okay,
squeeze
I realized that I've been doing this type of work my whole life. Okay, at the end of the day, I'm just some dickhead from Philly, dude. Like I don't claim anything like extraordinary or anything like that, and I also don't even pay people or not pay, charge people for this type of work because it's whatever, not whatever, but it's along the lines that I just have to do it because I realized that I've been doing this forever, and it took me actually getting into some meditation and going into my own Akashic records, which is a part of the ether, and seeing every single step of the way of where I was, where my soul was at all times. And everybody has this. Even people who are on their first lifetime, they still have a connection to that era, to that, to the source, to the ether. So that's the most how to do that. I mean, honestly, just meditation. And that's once you start meditating, transcendental meditation, then you can activate your chakras, right? And what do we talk about what the spine was? That's an antenna. That's really all activating your chakras is. You're just activating that signal. You're making sure that your spine is aligned in a specific way and that your body is in a specific state and that your mind is in a specific state so you can receive this download, this information.
How does that come to you when do you get flashes of memories? Do they come in dreams? When you do that work, how do the memories come to you?
That's when you talk about it's a download. It's just something that you know. It's an innate feeling.
So it's almost like a memory appears in your memory
just
bank.
know. You just know. Is that gut X factor feeling where you're just like, wow, like I get that. And everybody has that. I mean, Sam, you talk all the time about you want to live near water, right?
Yes.
Where does that come from? Probably from a past life. Those are those things. You know what I'm saying? Like things that you just know. Johnny, not to put you on the spot, but I know that sometimes there's this running thing where you have a fear of death or something like that, or losing loved ones.
Johnny is so afraid of death.
Well, I think it's silly not to be afraid of something like that, a change in state.
And I get it, but
I think most people are though. Sam says this thing like, "Oh, Johnny's afraid of death." Can you believe that? When most people, if polled, are afraid of death. I mean, you're the minority.
True. Yeah, I am a minority.
Right. Yeah.
You must respect my minority
the way
rights.
the government will prefer, but
First of all, Sam's a rebel. He's lived it.
So,
He's
Yeah,
I'll give
there we go. There we go.
I'll give a little more morbid example of that. I've had a client, and I'm not gonna say names or anything like that. Obviously, I've had a client who was working through a lot of trauma in the past, and we first started working just as a regular massage session. This is one of the reasons why I still do massage therapy, because it's how I connect and how I find these people. Otherwise, dude, I wouldn't put myself out there to talk to anyone. In conversation, we started working just regularly, and then she said, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but I feel like I was molested." Whoa, that is super heavy, obviously, right? Like that's not something that you just tell anybody. And then we started talking a little more, and she said, "Not right now. I feel that I was molested in a past life, and now I feel like it happened, but it's never happened. But I feel that feeling of fear. Where does that come from?" Then we ended up doing some energy work, and we realized that she did have a situation like that.
Damn.
And that energy was still within her, and it was fucking her up, and it was actually causing physical issues.
It sounds like Scientology, I have to say, a little bit. I mean, that must be why that church has succeeded for so long, is because they're doing some kind of actual work.
Oh, you know that it's a Navy intelligence.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if it didn't have some legitimacy to it, it would be hard for it to perpetuate.
Well, that's
like
what
this,
I'm saying. It's using intelligence. So, I mean, listen, you could say whatever you want about Q. You could say whatever you want, and I know you guys are gonna say some stuff. Okay?
Yeah, like it's bullshit. Yeah.
It's called Operation Trust. They've done it before, but the key to Operation Trust, and this gets into manifestation, is they have to tell you the truth so that the most gullible, not the gullible, that's what the most paranoid.
Is that right?
No, paranoid, okay?
Freudian slip there.
The most paranoid.
Edit that out, Johnny.
Johnny, edit that out.
Edit that out,
It's never going to happen. I'm just having a
I'm
bad
writing
day.
the time on my hand.
Okay, yeah, Johnny, there we go. The most paranoid of people would believe it. You know, you had to have dots that connected for people to believe it. So how do we zoom out to Scientology? Scientology has to do things, okay, that make sense and work, like energy healing and past life healing, in order to get people to buy into it, to grow. And because Scientology is a giant naval intelligence blackmailing scheme.
So I would even go as far that Scientology is there to identify certain individuals.
Bang! saying data, dog. Zip it, Johnny.
So
Wait, well, you just repeated what I said. I will say
No,
that again.
no, you
That's what I
didn't.
said.
No, you
There
didn't.
had to
No,
be
no,
some
blah,
reality
blah, blah,
to it for it to perpetuate. And then you
yeah,
took a
but
lot more
I
words
said
to
it
say
in a
exactly
more
that.
exciting way.
let me see if I even got it from either of you guys.
Okay, this should be fun.
So are you saying that Scientology has so much data that they can literally tell you information about yourself where it makes you believe in Scientology in a weird
Maybe.
kind of way? You get what I'm trying to say by that?
No. What we are saying is that Scientology uses intelligence agency tricks to lure you in, because these tricks are ancient knowledge. There's secret society knowledge that is used because they know it works, and they use it on you. So you go, wow, this worked. What else do you know? And now they got you hooked.
So
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you know how they talk about that those rods?
Yeah.
You think there's something there? You
What,
think
divining rods? Like
No,
where they find oil
like
and water and
you're
stuff?
supposed to hold it and they ask you questions.
It's
and
divining rods, right?
No.
Johnny might be right. Yeah.
I thought divining rods are when you're looking for water.
But I think it was the same principle.
could be
Oh, no, you're talking about Scientology? Those?
Yeah.
Oh, the what do they call it? E-meter. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything there?
Yeah, I do
yeah.
believe, because, or they talk like Johnny said about astrology.
I think the
that they
meteor
do
might be
general
bullshit, but-
things like you have a mother and a father, and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it. So, but I think they got tricks from intelligence agencies. They got tricks from secret societies on energy manipulation, and they know how to manipulate you.
Well, Scientology was created by that one guy.
Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, and he has connections to Crowley.
Yeah.
So
well,
you
was naval intelligence. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Like, so it's along the lines that, yeah, Sam, you're right. They just have to still have to use these things. It's just along the lines, like George Carlin said, it's a giant fucking club and you're not in it. We're not in it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is. They just like, most organized religion in a way, that's what they did. They just grabbed these fundamental absolute truths and they just started shifting them around. Yes, to help people. Okay. I will admit that, of course, Christianity is necessary. Islam was necessary for its time. Judaism is necessary for their time. All religions are necessary for their time, but they're there on purpose also to control you. And Scientology is no better.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe. I believe it. I believe
So
everything is an intelligence agency trick. That's what I believe.
I wouldn't put Christianity on the same. Maybe organized. And I wanted to say.
Listen, dude. Listen, man.
I wanted to say earlier, I think the reason that so many people have bad reactions, other than them possibly being possessed, to people tweeting back scripture, is that there's so many people out there, especially people who are hardcore liberals and atheists now, were abused.
Johnny, write down that time real quick.
Abused by people, in the church, right?
Yes. They
organized religion abused so many people.
Well, that was done on purpose, and
that's obviously.
Yeah. So it's like the way they corrupt. Nobody trusts politicians. They did that. There's been a conscious effort to detach people from God, and that's why they've annihilated Christianity. And that's why I've gotten into Christ. It's because Christianity has such a bad reputation.
And I understand that. And Johnny, I do understand that. Of course, there's that X factor that, like, you're going to send something to someone that they're going to have the reaction because it triggers them. But try it on your own time, man. And I'm telling you, you're always going to get the same response. It's just, I don't know why, because I don't have social media anymore. But when I did, I tried it too, just fucking randomly. I picked the most blue-haired fucking freak there is. Just try to have a reasonable argument with them. And I get it, talking shit on the internet. I get that. I get it. But to come out and say malicious things, that's like, damn,
What do you
dude.
mean, say malicious things?
Like, oh, you fucking asshole, you're so ignorant, I hope you fucking die, or whatever the case is. Like, where you're actually willing death upon someone rather than, dude, you're just fucking retarded.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a limit. There's a complete limit to that. And we see that a lot of the times it's only this specific type of people who happen to be liberal are the ones who say it. Conservatives don't really say that, but then you could argue that most conservatives are in touch with God and Jesus, and they have a different foundation, which brings me back to psychic defense, which is simply believing that there's something protecting you and that this shit is not yours.
Agree.
And that's what I tell a lot of people. Like, this shit is not yours. That's it. This is not your energy. This is not your burden. This is not for you to carry on. This is not your trauma. None of this stuff is yours. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It's just grabbing this thing. Like, for example, right now, it's what's happening in Palestine and in Israel. And that's tragic and it sucks. And I get it. And I don't want to get into that. But at the end of the day, what they're showing you is just so you have that fear in yourself and you're at that heightened state of fear. So now you're at a low frequency.
Yep.
Now you're more prone to have another type of, another software or another thing that's floating around come to you because now you've reduced yourself to that level. And then before you know it, you're like, holy fucking shit. Why am I coughing so much? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why this is happening to me? And then we're getting another COVID shot.
Yeah.
I agree, dude. I concur. I think you're right. Everything is a manifestation trick. I do believe that. Okay, man. This has been an excellent episode. Excellent episode, Castro.
Oh, thank you. There's so much shit, dude. I'm sorry. I'm like all over the place.
It's okay, dude. I'd rather you come with too much than not enough. That's fine. One more time. So I know you don't got a podcast. You don't have, what is there any? Okay, so we got Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. What's your website?
Yes. So like I was mentioning, the one thing that I do use to kind of spread some of this message, and I'm actually using it myself to, in a way, heal people that are on that level. I actually play in a hardcore band called Muerte, and it's actually a big magic trick in the sense that I'm playing heavy music because it's tuned in a specific frequency with specific lyrics because I want to clean people out of this shit. And the best way to do it is through music. And one of the reasons why I chose this specific genre is because they're more than likely of the liberal side and more than likely are possessed themselves. And I see it all the time.
So your website, which is basically a link tree almost of your stuff, is m3x3.net. You can go check it out. Great episode. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. We're going to stay here as we say goodbye to Castro. Thank you, dude, for coming on. And we appreciate you, dude. And I look forward to seeing you again in Philadelphia, buddy. Great job. You crushed it. Thank you so much, dude. Great job.
See you, man. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Good show. Good show.
Bye,
a lot of fun.
Great show.
I had fun. What'd you guys think?
He was in the middle of the rabbit hole.
Yeah, he came out with like, Aleister Crowley had some thoughts. I'm like, okay, now I'm on my feet. I'm reeling a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a great episode. It was a really great episode.
Yeah. Also, the point about the government agencies at Ferguson is that, or at the protest rather, is that somehow a benign hand in things or.
Well, let's not focus on what was. Let's focus on what we liked.
No,
and then we'll discuss it.
God, he said a lot of things that just beg more questions. I would love to have had another hour with the guy. He's clearly
right now. Everyone's like, "What? Do you got time restraints? You could have got another hour."
Well, I mean, we're at an hour 40. I mean, that's
come on.
And it's 84 degrees in the studio.
I don't know why it's so hot.
It doesn't make any sense. It's 60 degrees outside. It's like 50, 60 degrees outside.
I'm trying to fight to stay. Like, tell me more. And because it was a great episode. I loved it. I just I'm so sensitive to, I love our Christian listeners. I don't want them to think I'm constantly trying to bring on Gnostics. Sometimes that just happens. And again, Christ in my life, God above all gods, no little G gods, get the fuck out of here. That's my whole thing. But it's interesting, and like I think he's totally right about all the manifest. I mean, we just did an hour and 40 minutes on what I've been basically saying is that everything is a manifestation event. That's my opinion.
I think some people were possessed. I think he was in the BLM riots, and he was interacting with people that were evil, like wanting evil, like bad things to happen to people at the BLM riots. Where you're like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I can tell you, one of those guys that
effect.
got shot was for sure possessed. That one guy that got shot, by
Rittenhouse?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the pedophile that was like dropping N-bombs. Like that
guy
was
was
to me
possessed.
like if you want to get in a guy that may not actually be real, that dude is great because
100%.
you had Hollywood defending a skinhead pedophile calling everybody the N-word.
And they love that.
And they
kind
were
of
like, we
perversion.
love Little John. What was the guy that played the Incredible Hulk in Marvel that everyone says my voice sounds just like?
Incredible Hulk and
The Incredible Hulk. And
Mark Ruffalo?
yeah. Remember Mark Ruffalo was like calling him by his nickname? Little Johnny he's not going to see his family anymore or whatever his name was. And you're like, bro, he's a pedophile dropping N-bombs at a BLM rally.
That's so funny. Mark Ruffalo is the ultimate joiner, by the way.
I just
that guy
don't get because
joins
he was great. And then out of nowhere, he just started going nuts.
No, he's got a righteous indignation about him, and people like that, if they're not critical, they get sucked into bullshit so easily.
I just don't get it, dude. It's just like, why would you defend a pedophile?
Would you say
He's trying.
Would you say that because we're talking about NPCs?
Yeah.
How many NPCs were at the riots? Because I mean, I know you saw hot chicks that you knew that were at the riots.
It'd be easier to count the people who weren't, probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
What hot chicks did I know at the riots?
Like BLM riots, I saw a bunch of chicks that were just there to be politically correct, and I'm like, okay, I know they're not NPCs.
A clout chase and shit.
Yeah, and I know there's some people that went that I knew that were like friends.
No,
and
I
I'm
know
like,
a
I know you're
comic
not.
who
NPCs.
was. I know a comic that was rioting here on Melrose. Yeah.
When everything burned, my
Yeah.
street burned. Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for that, asshole.
Just burning shit down constantly. You know.
Do you think actors or rappers or anything? Like, I don't think they're NPCs. They're more clones. Can that be an NPC?
I think they're just blackmail controlled, or
What do you mean clones?
They're either
What?
conformist or they're blackmail controlled.
As in clone, like a clone.
That's
clone.
why all
Like
the
a clone
rappers
of
are gay, they
what?
gotta
Like there
control
was
them.
a clone of themselves.
But what's the original guy doing?
The original was a real person, and then they obviously can't control them.
They
so
killed
then
him
you
and
get rid
took
of
him
them
over.
and
I
take
got
it
you.
as a
Okay.
clone.
I got it.
Because they're definitely not NPCs.
How you know?
Everything is spiritual warfare.
Yeah,
That's my belief.
maybe sold their
I
souls.
really
too.
like what he had to
that.
say. What?
Sold their souls too.
That's
I guess,
another-
with
yeah.
entertainers. I believe that they
For
trade
sure.
their souls.
I really
for-
like what they had to say. I think it was great, and I'm a big fan
the
of
guest.
it. What?
Who's they? The guest.
The guest, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think he did great. I mean, again, then Johnny, there's some. Listen, I am pro Christian. I am full Christian. Head first running into it. I will defend it at all costs. I can't just have people who agree with me on the show. I have to have the wide range of it, and I would like to get more. I mean, like the next episode we're about to drop, guy's a full-on Christian. He believes in manifestation, but he.
I mean, what was funny about this guy, though, he did say he believed in Jesus, and then he was like, but we might be the fallen angels.
That's an interesting take too. Like that was a really interesting
Yeah.
take. I'm on my heels again. I'm like I'm covering up. I'm getting haymakers left and right. I'm like, what? I'm like fighting, trying to fall asleep because it's so hot in here. It's like, oh my God, you're so interesting, but it's so hot in here. I'm fighting. And it's just like I don't know if I don't think we're fallen angels.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, you gotta let people talk. That's the show. Like when that chick with the Adam's apple got mad at Austin Picard for saying that.
Oh yeah.
That the assassin's wife was down there and she just go nuts. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude, it's okay. Who cares? You're not gonna dude. We're trying to solve a mystery in the dark here.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You know, like that is what conspiracies are: solving mysteries in the dark.
It's an
You're going to get a couple things wrong here and there.
And we still kind of win.
Yeah, and
Which
you
is
still
very
win.
weird. We still kind of win in
You
the
still
dark.
effing win, bro.
Yup.
And that's why I love it, dude. That's why I thought it was an interest. I think, and guess what? Some things can be right. Something he get a lot right and then get a couple things wrong. That just happens too. Doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Johnny, right? We're not throwing babies out with bathwaters.
I don't want anything to happen to babies.
Nothing.
No baby bathwaters, please. So, guys, this has been a great episode. This is a celebration of 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years of just getting to out the gate. Blessings with.
Oh, this sounds like a SamTripoli show.
More people are saying
Woo!
Tripoli.
People going crazy.
They're
People
done.
going crazy. We don't. I listen, man. You guys need to understand something. I am constantly making sure that we are giving you the best of the best. That's all we want to do. And for the most part, I think we've succeeded. Occasionally we'll have some weird ones, but just know I always have your guys' thoughts and views and beliefs and desires for quality content in mind when I do the show. It's always like, how can we cater to our wonderful fans and make sure they feel that they're getting treated well and taken care of? And that's always going to be our goal for as long as you guys will listen. And someday, who knows, people might not listen down the line. But at this point right now, we're growing. We're always growing. We're getting bigger numbers than ever. And it's because I think that we have a real love connection and love fest with our listeners. They love us. We love them. And we are always taking your desire. And what's the word I'm looking for? Your
Interest?
Your interest. There we go. In mind when we do the show. So I want to thank Johnny. I want to thank XG. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank Dana. I want to thank some of the old people. People get mad at me who were on the show back in the day. Off the Grid Ryan, even though he's a whack job. And,
Aaron.
And AA Rod, who used to be on the show. The early days. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
I want to thank me for never giving up.
What's the old booker? I forget her name, and I don't want to forget her name.
Allie. I want to thank Allie.
Yes,
Allie was
Allie,
great
yes.
too. Allie didn't show up to Comedy Chaos last night, but she was on the list. She missed a great show. Blessings. I love you all very much. I'm very thankful that you're in my life. And we hope you enjoyed this show. We got more shows coming out, and we will continue to put out great shows for you and always be mixing up. Anytime we can get a weird one for you, we're going to do it. Anytime, it's a combination of interesting versus data, important data, so you can get another piece to the puzzle. So for that, I say thank you. Again, go check out SamTripoli.com. All my dates are there. West Hills, I'm doing the revival on the 22nd. This tinfoil hat comedy night, the 11th in Cleveland, the 12th in Pottstown at Soul Joel's, and then Xavier and myself will be live in Pittsburgh at the Low Lev Bear as the Booze comedy night. Go check that out. That's on the 13th. And then Batavia, one of my favorite comedy clubs, the Comedy Vault, will be live. Bang, bang, pow. Shut your face. Bang, 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 pow, pow. Okay, and that's how it goes. Yes. And check out the website for all the amazing stuff we got going on. Go down. We got Chaos Twins is still going if you want to help out. We finally got the funds sent in, so we're going to be dishing out. I'm going to be hitting up you, the listeners. Okay, I'll be hitting you up. And the ones who donated to come on the show, we will make that happen. We want you to check out Wise Wolf Gold and Silver, AquaCure, I would love to be sponsored by them. AquaCure Hydrogen Brown Gas. Our good friends at Harley Ray. Use the promo code SWARM15 for all your candles and your crystals and all your energy manipulation. Chemical-free body, our good friend Tim James, who we love, who you'll hear on the next show. And then, of course, the guy I can't speak enough of Tim James. He's changed my life. Also, Joel Staley. He has done a wonderful job. Go check him out if you want to get in shape, because Daddy's lifting and he's banging it out. And people are like, damn, you're so fucking shredded. I'm like, thank you, dude. Thank you. Go check out Nuke Social. By the way, in the next couple months, you're going to see me a lot more active on Nuke Social. You're going to see a lot more stuff coming on the website, so stay tuned. Tinfoil Hat Telegram, Zero Telegram, and then, of course, go down. And then, of course, we have all my free shows. I'm going to be taking a break from a couple shows. I'll be announcing those in a week or two, which ones I'll be doing, which ones I won't. So just a tiny break, and then radio shows all the time. So anything else? Oh, yeah, T-shirts real quick.
Oh, yeah, yup.
To check out the T-shirts real quick. Got your Christmas T-shirts. We got your new hats. Got your beanies. We got Yahweh or the Highway. Come on! Come on! Where's the list? That's available. And keep going down. Yeah, we got the JFK shirt, and then I'm going to be putting out the minivan shirt, and I got a Zero shirt. Why isn't that up as well? All right, guys. I love you all. Anything else?
Nope.
That's it for me.
We love you guys. Enjoy these highlights.
Hey, stay with us. Here's a clip from Broken Simulation.
Oh, I sent you this. This
Yeah,
was a
this
fun
is
with
crazy.
Stupid, but
This is crazy. We'll just
like
play it.
you brought this up before, and it's like a follow up on a story that you've had.
It's something that just keeps happening. I don't.
No, I think this is the same guy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow. Okay. Hold on.
Head banging for Jason. See,
It's not gonna be up there.
Jason Roth lives in a van with this dog.
Wally.
But get this, he is homeless
You're gonna have
and a homeowner, all at the same time.
It's something I can't fully wrap my head around.
It's more like head
How is this
banging for
legal?
Jason. See, here's his Rainier Valley home, but
She
the
never
tenant
leaves the house?
in it is way behind on his rent. So Jason is making mortgage payments and paying for flight school. He's also owed 5 months' rent, a total of some $29,000, not including utilities.
I do come here often, though. I do come here just to look at my house and
What?
miss it and wish I could be in it.
Crazy.
Making matters worse, the renter offered Jason's downstairs unit on Airbnb
Are
for
you kidding me?
$434 a night.
I take
He's-
that.
At the very least, he's generating $2,000 a month. And it's more than
How
likely
is
he's
this
generating
legal?
closer to 3 or possibly even
How
4,
is
depending
this
on the month.
legal?
And even though he didn't own the home, the city gave the renter a short-term rental license.
So
You're
not
joking.
only is he not paying me, but he's generating an income through the basement Airbnb unit. And meanwhile, I'm having to pay the utilities for that unit.
Now he's waiting
Turn them
until late
off.
October for an eviction hearing.
The current process for an eviction hearing in King County to go from the start to the very end
That's unreal,
is
man.
about 12 months in total.
That's infuriating.
Lives in a van with
that's
his
like- I mean,
dog.
you're-
Wally.
But get
Does the
this.
guy ever leave the house? I would murk him.
Maybe that's why he's just waiting outside all the time for the guy to leave the house. You wanna do a little news?
Yeah, and then I gotta go.
All right, brah. Let's do some news. We don't have a ton of news this
I
week.
love that people like it's a 2-hour show. They're like, dude, you just like stop bitching and do it. I'm like, bro, it's 2 hours of us just talking out of our assholes. Like,
So-
what? You guys yell at me.
There were rumors flying this week, and this is from Newsweek, that Donald Trump is thinking of making Ben Carson his VP. What do you think?
He's absolutely ridiculous, and like,
Who is Ben Carson?
I mean,
or Trump is for picking Ben Carson,
I
or you
just
don't
think-
believe this?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't think Ben Carson resonates with anybody.
No.
But what he's thinking is like, I get called a racist all the time.
Have a black
so
guy.
I'm a black person. Who he needs is, regardless of whether you like her or not, is Carrie Lake is the perfect candidate for him because she's a pit bull and she's great with dude, you just take her off the leash and just go at the fucking press. I wouldn't even have a press. I mean, Carrie Lake will talk.
She's kind of like the female Trump, though, isn't she, in a way? And I think
Yeah,
maybe
but
they want like
she'll
a
take
different tone.
Why? Dude, he actually played ball with them on so much shit, and they still are like trying to destroy him. So
Yeah.
I would go with Carrie Lake. To me, is the best.
Yeah, I saw it. Did you
That
see
Vic
Tucker? Did
guy-
you see Tucker on Roseanne's podcast talking about why he's voting for Trump because of what they're doing to him with Mar-a-Lago and all, like trying to get him on this bogus. I mean, you know, just being president, you have to take home some stuff, some
Listen,
papers.
what I find absolutely hilarious is like they're trying to say he lied about his worth, so they gave him all this money. But what they don't realize is fractional reserve banking is literally lying about how much money they have. and because they have $1 and they're loaning out $10. So basically, they're just doing what they're accusing Trump of doing. It's all complete BS.
Well, and then even that, I mean,
again, and I'm not anybody who's like Trump's a savior or anything like that. I mean, it's so obvious what they're doing right now.
Definitely
And like
not me.
Dana, who's a retard, okay?
Yeah, politically.
I'm slowly but surely listen, I hate ESPN, but I'll take ESPN any day over MSNBC. And the only reason I somewhat enjoy it when she has on, because I can listen to what they're pumping into their retards, and it's just how many fucking charges are against them, how many court cases. That's all. They don't talk about anything else. They talk about nothing else.
Yeah.
All it's like, oh, how many counts against them? How many? That's all.
Well, you know, one story that they buried was this one. Deutsche Bank official says large changes to net worth like Trump's isn't unusual.
Yeah.
Remember, did you see that story this week? A Deutsche Bank Wealth Management Group their managing director testified Tuesday that the bank anticipates that the net worth of high wealth clients like Donald Trump can be elevated on self-reported financial statements, but it would not necessarily stop the bank from issuing the loan. And the guy goes on to say it's very common. We see this kind of thing all the time. The thing they're trying to nail him on, which that didn't get reported anywhere, that it's very common.
Yeah, 100%. It's all bullshit.
Yeah,
it's all bullshit.
And now a highlight from Cash Daddies.
And if you notice, the last week, there's a lot more news about possible buyouts. I mean, Paramount, CBS, big news yesterday. They
What?
They popped 10% on possible them getting bought out.
By who?
By I'll tell you right now.
I'm gonna be so sad if Ink Master goes away.
I want some insight. Can you get us some insider trading knowledge of like a company that's about to get bought out, Howie, so we can do some calls on that?
Hey, to everybody listening, I don't want anything to do with that.
I do.
I don't want to do anything with that.
Just so we won't talk about it on the show. Not SamTripoli. I just want some insider trading. Just for once in my life, get some insider trading knowledge.
I want none of it. I'm against it.
I mean, it's funny. The rumors were out there on Paramount getting bought out, and the stock went up like
by 10%. Who?
The rumor is that they could get bought out by Redbird, and Skydance.
Who is that?
Skydance is a film production company.
That sounds like two Native Americans.
No, you've heard of Skydance. Skydance produces a film production company.
Out of Santa Monica.
Skydance Media is a diversified media company, but it's like you've seen their what is it called? Their placard, at the beginning.
Literally sounds like a lesbian couple in a Native American tribe. Redbird and Skydance sounds like.
Yeah, but that's the rumor that they bought. But then news came out today saying a lot of experts said they don't think it'll happen. They don't think they have the assets to buy Paramount. Who knows? But there's a lot of rumors of buyouts, and this is the time of year that you hear this stuff, and a lot of times they happen in first quarter. So look for possible February, March. We'll see some buyouts. We got to keep our ears open. That's how you make money.
Well, as long as they keep Ink Master, I don't care.
You like Ink Master?
Oh, I love it.
How much of that do you watch?
All of it. And then I watch the offshoots too, the grudge match. I'm not really into Ink Angels. That's not my thing.
Oh wait, there's a spinoff called Offshoots, or as
they have this really hot chick who is all inked up. Her name is Ryan, and she it was so obvious she was going to win her season because she's exactly what television wants. An absolutely gorgeous chick who's super inked up and who's pretty good at tattooing. I don't think she should have won her season, but I knew she was going to.
But she has a spinoff that's in her place.
So she has two spinoffs.
Wow.
They spin her. Yeah, dude, she's like the main chick.
Just spinning around constantly.
Yeah, they're constantly spinning her. She's like a Thai chick in a basket in the Philippines. Okay. And so she has a spinoff where her and a couple of these chicks who were on Ink Master, they go around and they challenge people locally. And then they have one called the Grudge Match for people who are on Ink Masters, and they won. They beat the Ink Master, so now they get to go on the big show. So yeah, I love it. I could watch that show. Could go on forever for me. It never gets boring ever.
I gotta
It just
watch it.
I love to. I'm gonna go actually. I was telling Johnny this last night on our other show that I'm gonna go find this one Ink Master and get a giant Godzilla tattoo on my leg.
You know, I don't have a tattoo, but I'm thinking about getting one.
Can you
Yeah,
run
what?
it by
Of
us
what?
first before you get it on you? Because I feel like we need to look at it before you get it done.
I'm thinking old school arm, like just like a
You
big
should get
heart.
what you should get that Puma is the first tattoo you see when you walk in. That'd be the perfect Howie Dewey tattoo. Just a giant Puma right on your arm. Go and look, bro. I got some ink, and it's the Puma. I think White Chocolate Jay Williams has that. I'm like, did you just pick the first tattoo you saw as you walked in?
Oh,
Maybe I'll do it. I like cats, but I'm thinking I think I get the big heart with the arrow through it that says mom. I've always liked that one. It says mom.
I would love if you got mom. That would be the most Howie shit I've ever seen in my life.
I think I will. I think I'm gonna do that right here.
Do it.
Yup.
What else do we have here? No. We did all that. Macy's.
Nope.
Elon Musk is getting shit for the failure at Twitter. They've and
What do you mean
know
the
that
failure at Twitter?
I mean, their failure to get advertising, and they in their latest effort to make that company profitable, they introduced two new tiers actually, last week of their premium service, a basic tier which doesn't offer verification, and then a premium tier which gives you more exposure for your tweets and allows you to post longer videos and access to a number
where
of
is
other
that? I'll
features.
do that right now. I'll do that.
Yeah, and you get access to their AI service, Grok, which is supposed to be like a less biased AI. It doesn't have all the political biases of the,
I'll do
ChatGPT.
it right now, bro. You think I'm afraid, dog?
I think it's like 20 bucks a month or something like that.
I'm going premium action, dude.
Yeah, I already did it just because I want to support the company and for our business. It's important for us to get exposure,
Yeah,
for our
I'm
tweets
doing
to be
it
seen.
right now. Look at me. I'm just hanging and banging, bro.
I think it's a tax write-off, frankly.
All right.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
What about and if you ever want to think that
Oh, dude, I just got Gronk, bro. I just got Gronk.
Grok.
Woo! Yeah.
Grok?
Yeah,
That's the name of their AI.
Here's all I want to say to you guys is that we need to start doing this thing live on YouTube.
I do mine live. I love it.
Yeah.
Guys check in.
The problem with that, we never do it at the same time. It would be hard for us to.
Well, we would have to figure a time.
And it might benefit us to go to the SamTripoli channel because it has a bunch of subscribers.
Yeah, let's get off of Momo Jones' suggestions of our own channel. Then you could pull it off there and put it over there if you want
Momo
to.
Jones?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The guy in which we
I
do
know
not
exactly
speak of.
what you're talking about. And yeah, I think that was his genius idea too.
Yeah. Another thing they force us to do. Let's keep moving. Let's
Let's see. That's it for my news. What do you got, Howie?
No, I mean, as far as news go, look, the Fed's meeting this week. That's going to dictate, kind of tell us where rates are going. I'm still hell bent. We're at resistance levels on the Nasdaq, S&P. I do think these things are going to, you got the S&P's up, I think for the year, like 20%. Nasdaq's up 37% for the year. I think these things will drop back a little bit going into the new year, and there's going to be some more buying opportunities, but I think 2024 is going to be solid. I think things are going to be pretty good. We're going to be banking serious fatties.
All right.
Right on. All right. Anything else you're looking at though for this week?
As far as this week goes, look, I bought puts on Coinbase. I'm glad that finally tanked today.
Me too. Fuck them.
Who?
Coinbase.
And Alibaba's one that we actually took profits. I bought calls on it like a month and a half ago. It jumped. I sold half of them. I wish I'd sold all of them because Alibaba that thing has broken all kinds of support, and it's down to 71.55, almost $71 a share. And I had guys say, do you think it's a good buy today? And actually, I think that thing's going to break 70 and probably go into the 60s.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.